Let's go to the White House now. The president meeting with auto executives today.
Thank you very much. We have at this table the biggest car manufacturers in the world, all represented by their top people. And Mary, it's nice to see you again. We had probably my first meeting was with you and a group, and we've made a lot of progress in the last period of a year and a half. We're working on CAFE standards, environmental controls. We're working on how to build more cars in the United States. We have a great capacity for building. We're importing a lot of cars, and we want a lot of those cars to be made in the United States. I think what we'll do just very quickly, because we're represented by so much media, we'll just run around the room real quickly, and you can introduce yourself and the company. We'll talk for a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk privately. But we are going to, again, for the media, we're really talking about environmental control, CAFE standards, and manufacturing of millions of more cars within the United States, for Michigan, for Ohio, for Pennsylvania, for all of the different places. South Carolina, getting bigger and bigger. North Carolina. So Larry Kudlow, everybody knows. Go ahead, Elaine.
Elaine Chow, Secretary of Transportation.
I'm Scott Becker with Nissan North America.
Right, great company.
I'm Hernandez Dupkin from Volkswagen Group of America.
Very good. Thank you.
Bob Carter, Toyota North America.
Good.
Sergeant Marshall from Fiat Chrysler.
And by the way, thank you. You're moving to Michigan.
Yep.
From Mexico.
Yep.
That's what we like.
Yep.
In fact, right now, he's my favorite man in the room. Now, big announcement. I tell you, the people in Michigan very much appreciate it. It's a big deal. Leaving Mexico, going to Michigan. That was very well received. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bernhard Kunz from BMW.
Good.
Mary Barra from General Motors.
Yes.
Eamon Axler, Mercedes-Benz.
Good. Thank you.
And Bob Whitehead from FDR.
Rick Shostak, Honda North America.
Mitch Greenwald with the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers, representing 7 of the manufacturers.
John Bozzella with Global Automakers.
Yes.
Mr. President, Brian Smith with Hyundai Motor America.
Yes.
Scott Pruitt, Administrator of the EPA.
Mr. President, thanks for having us. Jim Hackett, Ford Motor Company.
That's right, Jim. We know you well. So these are the biggest in the world, and we're going to be talking to them, and we want them to build more cars in the United States and also build them here and ship them overseas. We're doing a reverse act, and that's going to be something I think that's happening, and we see it happening. A lot of it has to do with the great tax cuts and tax incentives that people have been given, and we have other incentives coming. So we appreciate you all being here. And thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank
Mr.
you.
President, do you still have confidence in Administrator Pruitt, Mr. President?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
So he's going to stay in his job?
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Time to go.
Are you concerned NAFTA may the automakers?
Say it.
Are you concerned that NAFTA may adversely affect these automakers?
Well, we'll see what happens. We're negotiating NAFTA right now. I've never been a NAFTA fan, as you know. NAFTA's been a terrible deal for the United States, one of the worst trade deals in history. We have some bad deals in this country. Between the Iran deal, NAFTA, Mary, we can look at any deal. We have bad deals. But now we're going to good deals. NAFTA has been a terrible deal. We're renegotiating it now. We'll see what happens. Mexico and Canada have, look, they don't like to lose the golden goose, but I'm representing the United States. I'm not representing Mexico, and I'm not representing Canada. But NAFTA has been a horrible, horrible disaster for this country. And we'll see if we can make it reasonable. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jess.
All right, that's the president, of course, at the White House meeting with auto executives today. Among them in the room, Mary Barra, who you saw there, went around the table. Sergio Marchionne, the head of Fiat Chrysler. Of course, a nice laugh there between the president and Mr. Marchionne. My favorite man in the room is what the president said regarding a plan by Fiat to move a plant to Michigan from Mexico. They are all there to talk about CAFE standards, the environment, and what the president hopes is more manufacturing of automobiles in the United States. You saw there towards the end, the president pledged his confidence in the embattled head of the EPA, Scott Pruitt. So that was the business taking place in that room. Eamon, Javers standing by at the White House. That's one piece of business today, Eamon, before the president later this afternoon discusses drug prices.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. What we saw there was the four-camera part of the meeting. What I'm told is going to happen next in this meeting, after the cameras leave the room, is that the president's going to ask all of these automakers what they think the miles per gallon and other standards should be for cars nationally. Remember, this comes against a backdrop of a dispute between California and Washington, D.C. over what those emission standards ought to be. The Trump administration is proposing pausing on emission standards in 2020 and not going forward for a number of years. California wants much stricter emission standards. The automakers are sort of caught between those two, right? They want ultimately one national set of rules overall so they don't have to make cars in different markets and figure that complexity out. So this will be a delicate negotiation. We're going to talk to these CEOs when they come out and try to see whether they're able to make any progress on that front. And then, as you say, the president's also going to be talking about drug prices in the Rose Garden at 2 p.m. He's going to make his pitch for how to lower drug prices in this country, but we're told that he's not going to go as far as saying that he's going to allow Medicare to negotiate prices directly with those drug companies, which is something that advocates of lower prices have said the government should really do, use its purchasing power to get lower prices for the government. Instead, we're told there's going to be a mix of measures here that are proposed. I'm told those will be market moving in terms of the pharmaceutical stocks, but they won't put those out until after 2 p.m., after the president actually starts to speak. So we won't get specifics on that until after we see the president in the Rose Garden at 2, Scott.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.